bring to your mind an example of pure grit, sheer diligence, and incomparable fortitude. In American history, a perfect fit for this description would be the 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. Few people in history amassed as many remarkable experiences and stories as Teddy Roosevelt. From his wartime service with the Rough Riders in Cuba, to his political mastery in the Oval Office, to his adventures in the dense, verdant jungles of the Amazon rainforest, Roosevelt exemplified a life lived to the fullest. Mr. Roosevelt inspired generations through his iconic sternness and strength while also demonstrating deep humanity on a personal level. He experienced both the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. Today, he is remembered as one of the most distinguished presidents in American history. This is Colton analyzing the ripples and reverberations of Teddy Roosevelt. What lessons and insights can we uncover from this legendary figure of America's Gilded Age? What do you know of challenge and strife? Comparing an ordinary upbringing to Theodore Roosevelt's is no easy task. He was forced to overcome a multitude of tribulations during his lifetime. Born in 1858 in New York City to a fairly prosperous family, his greatest struggles came not from financial hardship, but from his health. Throughout his childhood, he suffered constantly from severe asthma and other debilitating illnesses, for which there was no cure at the time. Regardless of these afflictions, Teddy was often described as highly energetic and remarkably positive. He found perseverance through his hobbies and education, developing deep interests in zoology, the sciences, social studies, and the outdoors. Though he was homeschooled and proved to be a very bright young man, his family was often fearful for his health. During his teenage years, he discovered the positive effects of exercise and physical endurance, which helped alleviate some of his asthmatic symptoms. From that point forward, Teddy became deeply drawn to physical challenges and to strengthening his body, a trait that would play a major role in his future careers and adventures. As his interest in the wider world continued to grow, Teddy eventually pursued a higher education at Harvard University. Alongside his love of learning, sports, and reading, he became heavily involved in social organizations, including honor societies and fraternities. He did not simply want to participate, he wanted to lead. This can be seen as the beginning of his lifelong desire to lead others and become involved in governance. During his time at university, he shifted between studying natural science and law before ultimately abandoning both pathways in favor of his newfound passion for politics. However, he left school altogether to return home to New York City and run for a seat in the New York State Assembly. After winning the election, Teddy became an elected politician at the young age of 23. As is already evident by this stage of his life, Roosevelt had established a pattern of pursuing and often succeeding in a remarkable range of ambitions. He would remain active in the New York Assembly for several years, exposing corruption scandals that had deeply infected the state government. During this period, he unsuccessfully ran for mayor of New York City, which sowed much doubt in Theodore's mind regarding his political career and led him to further pursue other ambitions. At the same time, he began building the foundations of the varied lifestyle for which he would later become famous. Some prominent positions he held included serving on the board of the Civil Service Commission, as New York City Police Commissioner, and as Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Navy. He would go on to serve his nation militarily and even try his hand as a western cattle rancher in the Dakotas, both of which were personal passions of his. In many ways, Theodore Roosevelt was a jack of all trades and very nearly a master of them all. These wide-ranging life phases helped prepare him for his biggest role to come. Following the prowess and gallantry he displayed in Cuba during the Spanish-American War as a Rough Rider in 1898, he returned triumphantly to New York City and was supported by his associates in becoming governor of New York. This governorship did not last long, as a new opportunity soon arose. fellow politicians promoted Teddy to fill the vacant vice presidential spot, serving under William McKinley. Coincidentally, chance and circumstance did not stop there for Roosevelt. After a year as vice president, McKinley was assassinated in 1901, thus elevating Teddy to the presidency of the United States at the age of 41. His presidency left a significant impact on the nation. Teddy played a major role in expanding the national park system, breaking up monopolies and trusts, strengthening foreign policy, and ushering in a period of growth in the early 1900s. He wore many hats during his time as president, including peacemaker, reformer, and conservationist. He even survived an assassination attempt during a speech and continued delivering his remarks. His resilience shone through in his actions, words, mannerisms, endeavors, and policies. To this day, he is remembered as one of the most influential executives in the United States. After his time in office, he continued pursuing environmental and political initiatives. He traveled through Africa, Europe, and South America. While in the Amazon rainforest during 1913 and 1914, he participated in a challenging and tumultuous expedition through the jungles. This journey proved extremely difficult for both him and his crew, as Teddy endured malaria, infections, fevers, weight loss, and other debilitating conditions. Although he survived, he later remarked that journey took about 10 years off his life. Apart from these wild escapades, he also continued to support democratic processes and fulfill post-presidential duties to help the country as best he could. After such an eventful and arduous life, Theodore Roosevelt passed away at the age of 60 in 1919 due to pulmonary issues. His image and legacy have remained as strong as he was, enduring well into the 21st century. His life story offers powerful lessons and enduring virtues that can inspire us in our own lives. What aspects of Theodore Roosevelt's character can be extracted and applied to a philosophical framework? Several remarkable traits stand out. He consistently chose action over inaction, embraced life's difficulties rather than allowing them to consume him, and demonstrated ambition and bravery instead of remaining idle. He also understood the importance of reframing one's perspective, focusing on strengths rather than having an ignorant mindset. Roosevelt exemplified what it means to be fully in command of one's mind and spirit. When this level of self-mastery is achieved, it reveals just how powerful and lasting the impact of a single individual can be. Another important principle to take away is that life is shaped by experiences and memories. Many modern Americans fall into repetitive routines and predictable schedules, but part of adopting Roosevelt's mindset involves breaking out of those cycles. This could mean traveling, pursuing a new career path, trying a new hobby, joining a club, volunteering, anything that disrupts the usual pace of life. Opportunities tend to follow those who actively seek them, and the best way to increase those opportunities is to turn inaction into action. Roosevelt embodied this philosophy throughout his life, transitioning from New York City politics to a North Dakota rancher to a military cavalry leader and even to an explorer in the Amazon. Roosevelt's legacy endures not only because of his accomplishments, but because of the values he represented. He helped shape modern America through conservation efforts, trust-busting policies, and a bold approach to leadership. But beyond policy, he left behind a model of energetic and principled living. His life continues to inspire people to pursue challenges, act with conviction, and strive for personal and societal improvement. In this way, Roosevelt's legacy is not confined to history books. It lives on as a standard for resilience, leadership, and purposeful action in everyday life in the modern USA. 5 key learning lessons provided by Theodore Roosevelt, 26th President of America, are: 1. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Teddy Roosevelt. 2. Even through the challenges of life, face it with fortitude and courage. Any moment could be your last. 3. Far better is it to dare mighty things to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat. Teddy Roosevelt. 4. Embrace and take on as many different roles and opportunities as possible. Taking chances increases the fulfillment of a life truly lived. 5. Find a way to make your weaknesses into strengths. It is possible through hard work and perseverance to turn any negative into a positive. It starts with a change of mind. It is easy to doubt our abilities. However, it is still possible to live up to the standards of Theodore Roosevelt and many other historical role models. So how can we be the man or woman in the arena in the 21st century? Roosevelt offers a powerful representation of the strenuous life through his own example. Live in the real world, say what you mean, do what you stand for, and most importantly, be yourself. He would likely stand in strong opposition to social media and our incessant reliance on those platforms. While many of our lives now involve social media, we should not allow it to consume our minds or corrupt our beliefs. Instead, we should commit ourselves to action rather than sitting on the sidelines complaining about issues online. Actions speak louder than words, yet modern society often spits opinions with venom, but these opinions carry the bite of a flea. In many ways, social media has diluted the impact of both spoken and written words. The only meaningful path forward is through genuine effort and real-world engagement. Just as Roosevelt overcame his asthma and physical debilitations, we too can overcome unhealthy habits and transform our weaknesses into strengths. Another harmful effect of the internet is the way it fosters jealousy and self-doubt. While people may appear friendly outwardly, there is often an underlying sense of comparison and competition. Competition has always existed, but it has intensified with the rise of social media. Roosevelt, however, embodied confidence and strength of character. He was not driven by others' opinions, and we can learn from that example. The first step is to focus on personal growth, building self-esteem and internal validation rather than seeking external approval. One framework for this growth includes 4 stages of consciousness. The first step, to me, is victim consciousness. The second step is by me, that's responsibility consciousness. Third, through me, surrender consciousness. 4, as me, oneness consciousness. While it is unclear whether Roosevelt consciously followed such a framework, it is evident that he maintained strong control over his mindset and perspective on life. Those 4 prior levels of consciousness can be explained by the following. The first, to me, victim consciousness, is when you blame your surroundings and external circumstances that affect your life. 2, the by me responsibility consciousness is when you take responsibility for your actions and you can blame or accept your own actions and choices. The third, through me surrender consciousness, this is when you take into account the universe and accept who you are, and what you're about. The fourth, as me oneness consciousness, is when you have forgot all other consequences and actions of the world and you just exist as you are and are at perfect peace with the universe. Wrapping up with Teddy Roosevelt. Finally, Roosevelt's life encouraged us to step away from technology and out of our comfort zones. He demonstrates the value of seeking adventure and embracing new experiences beyond familiar routines. Many people, myself included, fall into repetitive patterns that can lead to stagnation and passivity. Roosevelt's example pushes us in the opposite direction, toward growth, initiative, and engagement. Action and experience are what ultimately lead to fulfillment. Although the world Roosevelt lived in differs greatly from today, the principles he embodied remain timeless. These lessons serve as a building block for a better present and a more meaningful future, one grounded in reality and purposeful action rather than the often artificial experiences shaped by the digital world. This is Colton, doing my best at speaking softly and carrying a big stick, signing off. If we listen closely, we can hear the reverberations of humanity telling us to remember, realize, and reflect.